thank you to all of our corporate affiliate this year. Without their support, we won't be able to continue to do this very interesting program. And I wanted to introduce our speakers today for this webinar. Stephen Brown is actually from New York, and Richard Chang is actually an architect, but work out of the Shenzhen office. So together, I'm going to now actually pass it to them so they can give you more background about themselves. Stephen, I'm going to stop the share now so that you can probably take over.
Okay. Great, thank you very much. One, I appreciate the time, and Josan from New York, working from my home apartment here in New York, and maybe I'll take it from here. Just a little bit about my background. I had the pleasure of working and living in Hong Kong from 2012 to 2016. I was living in Quarry Bay, working in an office in Wan Chai, and was managing corporate clients across Asia Pacific. And the whole reason I got involved with Well is the company I was working for at the time, which was Hayworth, a furniture manufacturer, actually was one of the first to Well certify their Shanghai showroom. And I instantly fell in love with the concept. I spent my last year in Asia basically educating everybody about the Well building standard, just saw how all the clients positively responded to it. And then when I relocated back to New York, was able to join the Well team full time, and I've been with them for about 4 years. So it's one of those things where sometimes you're just found your next journey, and so far it's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate everyone's taking the time to learn more about this, and hopefully we can kind of find ways to work together to make this crazy world a little healthier place. What I like to show is just 3 visuals to get everybody synced in the mindset of how important our environment is to our health and well-being. I show this picture. Zoos a long time ago used to have animals in cages, horrible environments, until we started having more zoos or natural environment. No surprise that they lived happier, healthier lives. It's no different than people. If you put us in a nice environment that connects us with nature versus a not so nice, it's going to have impacts, good and bad, on our health and well-being. And when you think about when we go on vacation, none of us really go on Trivago and try to schedule a indoor space or a conference room for our families to enjoy. We're constantly trying to figure out how to get outside, how to connect with nature, because that's just where we're the happiest and healthiest. And when you know that, it's just important to think about your environment that you spend time in, and also environments that you're creating a little bit differently. We're going to go through a lot of information quickly. Some of the things we're going to try to cover here is just the big picture on the global health scale. Second thing is just sort of the concept of delivering wellness through real estate, which is kind of a newer concept to some, and give you some quick updates on our Well version 2 there. I'm going to go through the value of Well from more of the business reasons a lot of corporations are looking at this. Then we're going to just give you a quick update on the global movement, on kind of how this is growing and where. Go through a few case studies. Then we're going to try to give you just a little bit of information on how this kind of impacts and can help support and deal with this whole virus thing that we're all challenged with. And then a speed round through the 10 concepts of Well at the end. So just the big picture here. It would be not good thing to just take a second and recognize that we're all extremely challenged and distracted right now with this whole coronavirus that's virtually impacted the entire globe. Some of the things that we're trying to do here at IWBI, one is I just want to let everybody know that we've opened up a new landing page on our website to kind of corral all information, education, research, things to help us all learn on how to deal with this virus and other challenges in healthcare. And there's also some opportunities for webcast series that you can sign up there for free. There's some Well AP exam prep training that's going to be coming up that's also for free. And there's a task force that we're pulling together a lot of experts from multiple places in the field, which will be interesting if there's any interest from you wanting to participate or just keep up with sort of the information that'll be coming out. You can check that out there. So just to kind of reset and give you a big picture here, when it comes to our health and wellness, there's a lot of things that are preventable. And that's our lifestyle choices, that's some of the environments we hang out in. These are called non-communicable diseases. You know, the inactivity challenge is a global one. We're not moving enough. And just imagine how bad it is right now when we're all sort of quarantined in our homes or in a small environment. It's going to have huge impact on our health and well-being. And the last thing is just how we spend money around healthcare. Obviously, this is different all around the world. But just to give you a flavor here in the US, we're probably spending it the least wisely. We spend the most per person on healthcare, but we're not living longer than more than half the world. And the reason is we're spending it incorrectly. We spend it, and a lot of us around the world do this on the back end when it's most expensive, when you need expensive drugs, surgeries, hospital stays. We need to flip this on its head and try to spend our money on the preventative health intentions, which is what well is all about, to keep us from getting sick in the first place. And if you can see the pie chart there, 75% of the money spent around healthcare is on those non-communicable diseases that I spoke earlier about that are avoidable based on lifestyle and environment choices. The health and wellness industry itself is huge. And this gives me an opportunity to kind of share quickly how we even became to be. Our founders actually came from Wall Street, and they were watching markets and trends, and they noticed that it's this large health and wellness industry, and they thought there should be some real synergies if we could combine that with the largest asset class, which is real estate. The next thing they did was they invited in the same room sort of architects, engineers, designers across the table from scientists and healthcare professionals. And they asked the question, have you ever talked to each other about the health impacts on people through the spaces you're designing? They said no, but what a great idea. And that's kind of where the 7 years of research began, building what we know today as the Well Building Standard. And there's a lot of existing research that we just pulled together that was in silos, and then we translated it into how that impacts through the built environment. Sort of this concept of delivering health through real estate is an important one. It's one that we all have impacts because we are involved with creating and managing spaces. When I first joined the Well team, I assumed that my health and how long I was going to live would be mostly impacted by my genes, what I was given from my mother and father, and my access to good health care or not. And that's actually the smallest impact. The biggest impact on our health is truly our physical and social environment and our lifestyle health behaviors. Again, most of it's in our control. Once you understand that, the fact that we all know that we spend too much time indoors has a whole different meaning. And we have more responsibility to make sure the spaces we are spending time in and creating are looked through a healthier lens to impact people. When the world looks at, where we're investing money on buildings, we've always kind of focused on saving money and cutting cost and, how much energy can we reduce through the sort of environmental push. But right now, the biggest expense in a building is us, the people in it. And if we can focus on improving the productivity and health and wellness of the people in any building, you can have a much higher rate of return impact there. So V2, if you're familiar with V1, then this will be interesting just to give you a quick fly through of some of the improvements we've made. But when V1 was out there for a few years, we obviously learned a lot from many, many projects, many, many users. And we've made some significant improvements to the program. And if you want to just see how V1 versus V2 aligns and differences, there's a great article on our website there called Well Tip, Understanding the Difference Between the Two. First, I just want to remind everybody how the Well Building Standard is a holistic standard. It doesn't just handle design and construction pieces, but it also has features that are around HR policies, features around building operations policies. And that combination of those three areas is what gives us the biggest impact on the health and well-being of the people in the space. We're starting to all learn what all the negative environment situations are. And now that we know this, the Well Building Standard gives everyone a roadmap on ways to make them better. Improve the air quality inside, improve the acoustics, improve the nourishment, design to move, all these different things. And V2 now is usable and flexible for all environments. It's not just for offices anymore. We can literally do any commercial space, and we're getting all kinds of new requests in from the education world, airports, industrial. So any commercial space you're working on, give us a call and we can try to help show you how to adapt the V2 version. Some of the major things that we did to make our newer standard more flexible was two big ones. One is the preconditions of V1 were pretty high. We cut those in half to make sure that everyone has a basic baseline of a healthy building, which is important, but then we expanded the optimization. So now you have a lot more ways to get to that healthy building. We understand that existing buildings especially all have unique challenges. Some are old, some have some different problems that may be too expensive to improve one area or the other, but there's still multiple ways to get to a healthy space, and we didn't want to slow projects down from finding that way. The scoring system we changed just to make it more similar to LEED. We realized that having a brand new scoring system didn't make sense to try to educate the market. The market already understood LEED, so we made the two scoring situations much more similar. I'd like to remind everybody that we do not compete against other green certifications like LEED. We actually work with them very closely, and WELL and LEED both share the same third-party organization, the GBCI, in verifications. Just the trend out there is leading companies are really focusing on people and planet. They really care about the environment as well as human health. And here's just a few projects that use both. We could add to this list of Barclays, American Express, JLL, CBRE. There's just a bunch of global customers that have realized that the best impact is to handle both environmental sustainability and human sustainability. We now have crosswalks to help, especially you, when you're working on projects. We've already done the alignment where there's overlap between WELL and LEED, WELL and Green Star, WELL and BREEAM, so you don't have to do double work. Which is very helpful. And this is all available on our website. Another improvement we made with WELL version 2 is we found, especially as a new standard and when you're doing your first project, there's a pretty steep learning curve. So we developed a coaching program where anybody now, when you register a new project, you get one of our technical coaches that can help you through from start to finish. That's both you, if you're the consultant, and the client. So you don't have to worry about learning something new. We have somebody there to be at your side to help you learn the process. The big difference versus us and other certifications is our performance verification piece, where we physically come out and test things around air quality, water quality, lighting, thermal comfort, and acoustics, and you truly get a score of how healthy your building is. It's extremely important, especially when your internal stakeholders ask, or when you're doing any kind of sustainability reporting, when people say, well, how can you prove that you have a healthy building? You can't just say we designed to have a healthy building. This truly gives you that metric that's third-party certified. One thing we did realize, though, with this program is GBCI was the only firm that was able to performance verify around the world that wasn't as cost-effective or timely when they're all from the US traveling the globe. So we quickly built over the past 12 months a new program where we have now performance verifying companies all over the world to have local support. You may recognize some of these brands to the right. Many of our corporations and customers already have relationships with them, whether they're doing LEED or BREEAM or air quality testing or whatever it is. Now they can do everything. And it also gives them the opportunity to negotiate on global contracts, which is helpful. So take a breath for a second. I'm going to attempt to show you just a quick video that really kind of summarizes what WELL's all about to help everybody understand before we move on.
I think it's now time for wellness to come to the fore, because as an industry, we are well versed on sustainability in its broader incarnation. This is the next level.
The spaces that we live and work in every day have a significant impact on us as human beings.
If we don't consider the human health and wellness of people that will occupy the spaces we create, we're not getting it right.
A well building is one that is designed and constructed and maintained to improve the health, happiness, wellness, and productivity of its users.
We are considering their well-being as a core value to our organization.
Everybody wants good quality air. Everybody wants high quality water. One of the interesting things about the WELL standard is that for the first time, we're really quantifying things like the role of nourishment and mind.
What this is really doing is dealing with chronic issues that are affecting our workplace. Designers can actually create spaces that incorporate solutions that affect the human body.
就是在所有的建筑当中，大家都知道有很多成熟的标准，但是这是第一步，是国际性的、全球可以适用的一步，关于建筑和人的关系的，特别是人的健康的关系的这么一个标准。
What I love about the WELL standard is the fact that it is based in scientific research. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're looking at how do we take that data that already exists out in the public to create our buildings.
It's a third-party, evidence-based, science-backed rating system that tells you how your space is performing.
To have someone come on site and physically test our space was pretty incredible so that we could get live feedback from all of the systems that we had designed.
Employee satisfaction is absolutely crucial, and it's a clear predictor of business performance. We get fantastic feedback from our employees working in this space.
They're saying things like, I'm sleeping better. They start talking about how they love coming into the office every day.
Human cost is one of the highest costs, up to 90% of operating a business. So retaining and attracting the best people is really important.
And I think when employees see that this is something that's a priority to the company, I think they recognize it's a company that they want to work for.
The WELL building standard is an easy choice to make. At $1.10 per square foot for our project, less than $1 a day per employee, the return on the investment is priceless and really can't be measured.
If you want to keep your people productive and passionate, make sure the workspace is a healthy, vibrant environment.
In the same way with the green building movement, once we knew how to make buildings better for the planet, we had to do it. It was a moral imperative. Now we know how to make buildings better for people. We have to do it.
So hopefully that helps just kind of quickly summarize kind of what the overall WELL building standard is about. Next, I'd like to jump into sort of the value of WELL. So I spend a lot of my time with multiple stakeholders within organizations from all different business groups, from senior leadership, HR, real estate, facilities, sustainability, ESG teams that are doing reporting for the companies. And what I found is kind of the most common list of business reasons why they think this is important. And I'm just going to share a few with you. The first five I'm going to spend a little bit more time on, but the first one is pretty self-explanatory. It's about people, attraction, retention, human capital management, which I'll explain a little bit more. The next thing is just increase the value of the company and or real estate if they're portfolio owners through different reporting mechanisms like ESG and GRES. Also, which is a new conversation, and I don't know if everybody's familiar with this, but the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. That's a huge new conversation, and WELL now has a lot to talk about, which we'll share a little bit more later. Mental health management. This was big before the virus, but this is going to be huge to deal with in the months and years ahead. So I'll spend a little time on that. And the last thing is just around culture. Everyone's trying to have a better culture, which health and wellness is a huge piece. Some of these other reasons are also important, but the bottom line is everyone's trying to figure out how to invest in the most important asset, and that's their people. And health and well-being is a huge place to start. So just to kind of give you a little bit up from a financial standpoint, and the reason I'm going to spend a little time on this is because, historically, I'm sure a lot of you, deal with customers, and sometimes you only get to kind of deal with their real estate procurement teams. You don't really get to their senior leaders all the time. You don't get to spend a lot of time with HR as much as you want or other strategic positions. But when you come in with the health and wellness solution and some of the things that we have to offer now, it can get you to a higher decision makers, which is important. The environmental social governance reporting mechanisms here is totally relevant, even more so now with this whole virus thing. When Larry Fink sent the letter out to the CEOs, he basically said, if you don't have a strong ESG strategy, you're not going to be relevant or successful long-term. What we found is the top two ESG strategies that most companies are focused on are, one is climate change, and we've got lots of different solutions around that. But the other one is around human capital, and that's where we play in to help invest again in the people of the company. The challenge in the past for when companies, report for their sustainability reports, their yearly reports, these ESG type of reporting, is it was hard to say, hey, my wellness program is better than somebody else's because it's apples and oranges. But now with the WELL building standard and especially WELL portfolio, which we'll be talking about briefly soon, is we now have platforms to help give that sort of global third-party certified verification of how you're investing in your people's health, which is extremely important. So switching from ESG reporting to more sustainable development goals with the focus of wellness, the Sustainable Development Goals from the United Nations is also a way to give corporations and private companies as well different things to target to make the world a better place. Again, focusing on people and planet. You see the theme and that's making sense here. I wanted to share that IWBI signed up to formally support the Sustainable Development Goals last year, and we've also aligned our entire standard feature by feature to support all 17. This is just showing you a snapshot. If you're working with clients, you can go on the United Nations Global Compact website and see who is formally signed up supporting these, because it's important that you know that. I just put Citi up here. This is one of our large customers. And if they've been reporting to the SDGs for many years, they'll show progress at the bottom of their profile. Those are the 17 SDGs. The ones that are in color show that these are the ones they're making progress and reporting on. The ones in gray are ones that are trying to find solutions to. And I just highlighted number 3, which is health and well-being. That's obviously the biggest SDG that we help support. But again, all of our features support all 17, which is a huge thing for clients that are reporting at this time. Just to give you a snapshot, if you go on our website and look under each feature, we have made it very simple and put the different icons of which SDG is supported feature by feature. So if clients are trying to focus on different ones, they try to then go for features for their project to give them more to report on. And one last thing on this is the financial markets actually use the SDGs as an ESG filter. Basically what that means is if they see companies that are supporting the SDGs, that gives them a higher value because historically companies that support trying to make the world a better place and through platforms like this generally perform better in the market. So again, aligning with these things is important. One thing that's going to be completely taking you to left field, but it's important, is we are partnering a lot with different financial streams and different financial markets, because it's important. You can't really make progress unless the financial world sees the value and wants to help you find money to spend. And I just want to show this as an example. There's in the bond market, green bonds, social impact bonds, sustainability bonds. The World Building Standard actually fits better with social and sustainability bonds because it's usually a mix of environmental and human capital solutions. But I wanted to show green bonds because one unique solution that actually is relevant in Hong Kong, where the Swire company actually put out a green bond to spend of $500 million, and they literally put in there, you can spend the money if you use the World Building Standard. When you start seeing things like that in the financial market, that's going to make everything open up much, much faster. When it comes to working with HR teams, I just want to give you a quick, because this helps you have a new dialogue sometimes with HR teams. When you're talking with them, there's 3 conversations that I generally have. The first one is, what are you currently spending on your wellness programs? Everybody has a different budget, anywhere from like $700 per employee to almost $2,000. We can say if you invest in a well-certified space, that first investment is $100 per person. So they're already interested in that first day cost. The second conversation we have is participation rates with wellness programs. Right now, it's generally pretty low. Most companies see anywhere from 20 to 40% participation rates. We can argue with a well-certified space that you can get 100% participation. And the reason being is anybody entering into that space is participating. They don't have to choose to take advantage of better air quality, better lighting, better acoustics, healthier foods, design that makes them move, and all the other features and benefits. And the third thing that gets HR teams and wellness groups excited is the fact that your unhealthy population, generally you're costing the company the most, and they participate the least in their wellness programs. So if you can impact that unhealthy population, again, another upside for the organization. And also like to point out with HR teams that many standard wellness programs align very well with the different concepts of our standard. I'm just showing you a few examples here. But we want to make sure the HR teams think this is not a competitive program to make your current wellness program look bad. We're helping to highlight what you're already doing well and maybe find some gaps or blanks that we can fill in. Culture. Culture is one of those things that's extremely complex, but we just know that health and well-being is an important piece of that. You can see the other areas here that make a good culture. We call them talent magnets, from leadership, purpose, opportunity, success, and appreciation. We always say the well building standard cannot fix anything if you have a bad manager. There's other issues that have to do it, but wellness is a huge piece. And the last area on mental health, again, which is going to be a growing concern as this virus impacts us now, but companies are predicting that this is going to be the highest cost focus by the year 2030. And you see the 4 areas here. This is just an Aon study showing what some companies are doing to deal with well-being in the built environment. And the social, physical, emotional areas there literally align with the well building standard very nicely. We can't do much about the financial piece. That's something the companies have to focus on. But again, the well building standard helps give you that roadmap that does impact well-being. We know what that can do. And the last thing is just about the cost. Both if you do things not very well, and there's things that you can track and see, and there's costs that you can't see. And that's really what keeps CEOs up at night. It's the stuff that they can't see or feel that has true impact on the organization. So quickly, global movement, where are things going? If you look at this, we're hitting all kinds of new milestones. We've got well over 4,000 projects. We're now in 58 countries. The nice thing to see is our well AP community, which is similar to lead APs, is over 10,000 strong and in 84 countries, which helps, again, give more support, both education and project consulting around the world. Here's a little snapshot closer to you. Hong Kong already has 51 projects in the pipeline and looks to be growing steadily. Also like to just show just some names by different industries that are engaged with well at different levels. This is by no means a full list. There's still many companies that work with us privately, but everyone kind of likes to get a flavor of what different teams are doing around there. It's really across all industries right now because health and wellness is not an industry specific solution anymore. And especially with the virus, it's really going to ramp up into all areas. I want to quickly show you something we've been trying to do around country briefs. And what this is we partnered with all the organizations that already know the public health data by country. We're starting to realize it's important that you customize your solutions to deal with different countries' challenges. We know that the environments in China and India are very different than the US or Africa or Australia. So what we've done is pull together country briefs for 17 countries. Here's just a quick snapshot of for the US. We map out what the top health risks are in each market. We align which risk is handled and supported by the well building standard. And here's just to show you China. And it's interesting to see differences. For instance, we both share #1 in smoking, the US and China, but the #2, is air quality, particular matter in China. Versus drug use in the US. So again, you can start to pick features that help deal with local health issues to really customize the solutions. The other thing I want to just remind everybody is we're trying to make well more accessible to different markets and different countries. And there are discounted fees for certain countries around the world that you can see here, but also in new sectors to help with government buildings, schools, nonprofits, low-income housing. All those sectors have discount fees available. And we're getting noticed. And kind of when the world recognizes this little private company, you start to get more phone calls. And that's great. And that just helps us engage and help more people get healthier faster. I'm just going to briefly give you a quick update on the well portfolio. This would take a whole new WebEx on itself. But what we have found is when companies were doing one building at a time through the well building standard, that's great, but it doesn't impact their entire population. And we knew we needed to come up with a solution that could help companies look at this more of a journey, more of a platform to help make all their properties healthy over time when it made sense. And it wasn't always about certifying. And that's what well portfolio is about. I'm just going to try to show a quick video, again, just to give you enough to be dangerous.
The places where we work, live, learn, and play have a profound impact on our health and well-being. More than our genetics and even our access to healthcare. Organizations looking to attract the top talent or the top tenants know that they need to offer more than a paycheck and good benefits. They need to support whole person well-being. That's why we've created Well Portfolio, a program that helps organizations implement, scale, and assess proven strategies that can impact the lives of many, from their staff to their customers.
We see that all of you are the centers of gravity for a growing movement where organizations are investing deeply in a culture of health and well-being. And not simply from an altruistic perspective, but understanding that the health of the business is linked to the health and well-being of the people who work there.
Well Portfolio is a new pathway for engaging with the well building standard. The WELL rating systems are the world's leading framework for advancing human health and well-being in buildings, communities, and now, through the WELL Portfolio program, across entire organizations. Tailored to meet the needs of organizations of all shapes and sizes, WELL Portfolio acts as a roadmap to guide organizations on their individualized wellness journeys, recognizing and rewarding their achievements along the way. WELL Portfolio subscribers can elect to earn WELL certification for some or all of their assets in the portfolio, while others may not intend to achieve certification at all, opting to treat wellness as a journey as opposed to a destination, and seeing their WELL Portfolio score tick up over time.
So the WELL Portfolio program has been actually a very interesting one for us. So it gives us the ability to really to get scale. So for us it is, we want to get multiple locations certified. There are, when you look at the certification, there's certain aspects of that is repeatable for every location. And so it just makes sense, both from just a time standpoint and a return on that investment, to go ahead, get the bulk of that out of the way, work with the right teams globally to do so. And then it just makes it that much easier to then prioritize and start knocking off locations, if you will, from the certification process.
Accelerate healthier people and better business. Join the WELL Portfolio program.
And just to summarize a little bit with the portfolio program, just to give you one example, Barclays was one of our first clients to sign up for this globally. And when I was working with them, the reason they found this to be a great solution for them, that was signed off by the CFO, by the way, they were trying to figure out from a senior level how to be more competitive against their peers. The challenge that they saw was, everybody was kind of fighting climate change, and in the sustainability realm, it was really hard to differentiate themselves. The senior leadership saw health and well-being as a way to do that. And then they were looking for platforms to help, make this happen across their entire portfolio. And WELL Portfolio gave them this platform. And right now, strategically, they're looking at just WELL certifying their regional campuses first, then go to the smaller businesses. And they've actually put their total retail branch network into the portfolio program too. And the good thing for people listening here is this is a great career opportunity as well, because when a client signs up for WELL Portfolio, they're looking for consultants and current partners to help them manage all their locations over time. So it's not now chasing new projects that you may get involved with, but it's about how do you help them manage existing projects and improving them incrementally over time, which is it's a great opportunity for everybody hopefully listening here. My last point before I hand it over to Richard is kind of looking ahead. Right now, to sort of the smart building, the sensors that are going on to measure all the different inputs in a building is hugely important. And WELL Portfolio gives everybody a platform to start putting all these stats and data points very easily understood across every location, so people can strategically figure out where they want to improve, where the weaknesses are over time. And the other thing is it's becoming a liability risk conversation I'm having now. A lot of organizations say we need to know more about what's going on in the environment before employees do. I mean, we've seen where large projects where people have moved in, somebody takes a handheld device, measures the air quality, sends out an email to the entire group, and all of a sudden everybody leaves the building because they've spotted high VOCs, for instance, which does happen in China from time to time. So measurement systems in place that can identify these spikes quickly will make the employee base feel like the company's really taking care of them, which is hugely important. That was a lot, so I'm going to hand it over to Richard next. And Richard, if you can introduce yourself, and I'll try to drive the deck from here with you.
Okay, thank you, Stephen, and thank you to AIA Hong Kong and all the online audiences for having me this evening. This is Richard Chang from IWBI. I'm currently looking after business development in southern and western China, as well as Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan markets. As Vicky earlier mentioned, I'm a British architect. In my nearly 20 years of UK study and work experiences, I have been practicing green building design. And I can tell you that the green building movement was the first wave of global sustainability development, which has been around for the last couple of decades. And now healthy building movement is the second wave. And it has started with the introduction of well building standard a few years ago. Next page, please. Like Stephen mentioned earlier, WELL is truly a global movement. It has grown so fast and strong, especially after this COVID-19 outbreak. People start to pay even more attention to health and well-being of their living environments. In fact, so many forward-thinking organizations have participated in the healthy building movement as early as when WELL was first published. Here, I'm going to share some case studies with you. Next page. First up is City Tower at One Bay East in Kowloon. This project has achieved the first WELL certification in Hong Kong in 2017. It's one of the early WELL projects in Asia. Some of you may find this project familiar, as the project has also achieved Honor Award for Interior Architecture in the AIA International Region Design Award 2017. And I also believe some of our audiences are from M. Moser Associates, who was both the interior architect and WELL consultant for this amazing project. With a little more than 270,000 square feet, the project includes 38 separate business units and provides a home base for 3,000 staff members, formerly spread over 5 leased buildings, now brought together in a single multi-story headquarters. The project team, you can see the picture here, started, I'm just going to give you some background. The project team started by making exploratory studies to determine what needs to address, what design needs need to be addressed, as well as considering city's operation strategy. They prioritize the project's goal to have flexible workspace, to have more available meeting rooms and collaborative spaces, and to have work settings with diverse look, feel, and configuration. In implementing their findings and pursuing WELL certification, the project team focused on the integration of different types of space through City Tower. Different floors have distinguished representing different environments, allowing the space to meet the demands of the wider variety of work that city employees need to do in the space. Steve, can you go back to the last page, please? The last page. Yeah, this one. The top left, as you can see here, is city's gym. Is outfitted with healthy materials and conveniently located to encourage employees to craft healthier lifestyles. And the incentive programs in effect for staff also help ensure more employees to make use of available resources. And other results, as you can see in the other pictures, there are many ergonomic design considerations, including more than 30% of workstation equipped with sit-stand desks. There are also artistic features, bright furniture, and lots of plants. And what I always find interesting, next page please, what I always find interesting about a WELL certified project is the positive effects came out on top of providing a healthy environment. Here at City Tower, you can see how satisfied their global CEO was with as little as less than 1% of incremental cost to achieve WELL certification, and so many incredible effects, including increased collaboration across teams, productivity, and awareness to health lifestyle. The colorful, vibrant, and flexible environment has proven to attract and retain young talents and reputable clients. Some organizations nowadays even say WELL is a hidden indicator for talent competition. Next page. JLL Shanghai office at Shanghai Taikoo Hui is the first WELL certification with a platinum level certified in Asia Pacific region. And this is the third WELL platinum certification worldwide. The two-story office, totaling just slightly less than 50,000 square feet, has set their WELL project goals as follows: to create a better and happier working environment for employees, to inspire changes beyond just the physical space and foster a shift in culture, and to provide a more flexible, more agile, and more productive workspace. For this particular project, I'd like to play a video to take you through their office. Next page, please. The video.
So we were asked to create the best office in Asia. We called the project Project Inspiration, and we started from there. Our aim is to create a benchmark globally for JLL offices around the world.
一个良好的工作环境对我而言是可以认识很多很棒的人，这里有很多内心强大和注重健康的人，我会经常受他们启发，他们会让我想要更加努力。
你好，我的名字是 Jill， 怎么称呼你？
我们想创造一个更好、更愉快的工作环境给我们的同事，我们也想成为这个行业的领先者，不单纯的是改变我们工作环境，更想改变我们对固有团队的管理模式。我希望我们的团队更灵活、更敏捷、更有工作效率。
没有固定的工位，意味着我们的团队可以进行更好的自由协作。他们可以是在极光咖啡馆，或者是15分钟房间，或者是团队协作区，一起进行工作。
Working in a fast-paced and exciting industry has always been at the top of my list. The fact that everything here is wireless enables us to work better, faster, and smarter, not only for our clients, but for ourselves.
我们的会议室是以自然奇景来命名，这其实是我在练瑜伽的时候得到的灵感。我很喜欢大自然，我想要把自然元素融入进工作环境中，把生活中的美好带进工作环境来，达到一个工作和生活的良好平衡。
现在有了 WELL 这样的绿色认证，遵循以人为本的原则，是为了打造更好的生活与工作环境，提升空间使用者的身心健康以及工作效率。整个 WELL 认证体系共有100项性能指标、设计策略以及规章制度，包括了7大概念。
其实每一次走进会议室的时候，我都特别的骄傲，因为我知道我为新办公室做出了贡献。
I love the reclaimed wood floors that we have in this office, and it really means a lot to me to work for a company that cares so much about sustainability. I think it's fair to say that this is the most unique office that I personally have ever been in. A key part of our strategy was we wanted to change the way that people viewed real estate in Shanghai. So how we did this was we incorporated elements of co-working into our site. So now our clients can be inspired by sitting down and working together with us.
当我们的客户来到这个新的办公室，看到这个环境，他 他们都非常惊喜。我们在引领潮流，我们在创造未来的工作模式，营造一个愉悦、健康的工作范围，这就是我们的愿景。
Okay, I'm sure many of you will agree that this kind of wellness workplace design is the way forward, and it's already happening. And here you can see some of the benefits came out from JLL's survey. On top of this, JLL's internal survey also showed their employees' satisfaction and proudness have grown dramatically from 60-70% to 80-90%. This means employees are more confident in sharing the amazing space with their clients and friends, and they can do their job happier. And also, there's a nice drop of sick leaves that has also been recorded and been turned into actual savings by JLL's admin team. For JLL, WELL has helped them to foster a better and a healthier working environment, and also create a physical space in which design principles align with the organization's core culture. Next page, please. And now I'm going to quickly showcase benefits of a few other WELL projects. ASID headquarter office in Washington, D.C. has achieved WELL Platinum in 2017. Next page. They have planned their health and well-being actions based on WELL standard, including several air purifying strategies, water filter system, circadian lighting system, stand workstations, sound masking system, healthy snacks, biophilia design, and so on. Next page. After getting the headquarters certified, ASID carry out an environmental condition satisfaction occupancy survey to make comparison between pre-certification and post-certification conditions. And the results show positive growth in every single categories, including thermal comfort, acoustic, fitness, sleep, etc. All of these led to the two key economic outcomes in absentees and productivities, as you can see in this page. And that allowed ASID to recoup its investment in the first half of its 10-year lease agreement. And as well as the positive impact on productivities, sleep qualities, there were many other benefits came out from these WELL projects, as you can see on this page. And next page. And this Arab Boston office is slightly more than 12,000 square feet big, and has achieved WELL Gold in 2017. And according to their principal leader, Tim McCall, they wanted the space that was progressive, so they could attract good quality staff. And they basically want all the young talents, the graduates, to come to the office and feel like, yes, this is the place I want to work. And so on the other hand, the designer for the office has set the goal to show other clients and owners that this can be done, and it can be done within a budget and a reasonable schedule. Next page. So on this page, this is what the office looks like. And this project has focused on their health and well-being actions on air, light, fitness, and nourishment, the 4 out of 7 WELL V1 concepts in particular. And a little different from ASID, ARAP carry out comfort evaluation and the employee questionnaire to compare occupant satisfaction before and after this space has been designed. And as you can guess, all the results were positive. Next page. So across several metrics and among so many positive outcomes, we have highlighted here the 65% fewer sick days and the 42% improvement in sleep quality for this office. And you see, people can benefit in their health and wellness just by simply being in a well-certified project. And this is the living example of Invest in People project. Next page. Kando is an engineering consulting firm in London. Their office in 1 Caterland has achieved WELL Gold in 2016. Next page. And here are what the office look like. It's slightly more than 15,000 square feet. It's very flexible, and because of their MEP background, they have set to minimize air pollutants such as CO, formaldehyde, ozone, and PM 2.5 levels to be much better than the WELL standard. And they managed to achieve it. Some other interesting approaches relating to WELL include they use reflective floor to increase daylight in the space to create bright and spacious feeling. They also use shelving and planted trolley dividers to create a kind of invisible room feeling within the open plan office. And they also provide standing desks as well as yoga classes to enhance WELL's fitness concept. Next page. For condo, they made before and after comparison in workplace wellness promotion and the workplace impact. And they discovered great improvements in reduction in both absenteeism and turnover. What impressed people the most was that they even worked out the payback period for this project. The total WELL investment is only about 3.11 months. Next page. As we know, co-working office is already an existing trend in the world. My Dream Plus is a co-working brand originated from Beijing, and the Chengdu project has achieved WELL Silver in 2019, last year. And this was the first WELL certified project in Chengdu, and it's the first co-working space to have achieved WELL certification in China. This is a proof that WELL can be applied to different building and space types. As long as people within the space care about their health and wellness, they can make good use of WELL building standard. Next page. So for this particular project, My Dream Plus is not only the designer and construction manager, but also the operator after the space is put in use. And throughout the whole process, throughout the project, their own project designers, furniture designers, product designers, architects, everyone, all the stakeholders, they all carefully studied WELL concepts and analyzed hundreds of existing tenants' feedback and made improvements on areas that tenants are most concerned about, including air, lighting, noise, and other working environment factors. And this integrative design process is also a feature in WELL standard and has been executed really well in this project. And next page. Edge Olympic is the first building in the Netherlands to achieve WELL Platinum certification for enhancing health and well-being. This signature building in Amsterdam's financial district has received WELL Platinum certificate in 2019 and is the first in the Netherlands to achieve the highest level of WELL certification. Next page. Edge Olympic includes 2 floors offering open co-working spaces, which is home to many high-tech and telecommunication companies, including EVBox and Microsoft, amongst others. The Edge Technologies headquarters themselves are located on the 4th floor, and you can see from here its founder and CEO has emphasized on sustainability and well-being of today's workplace. He believes healthy workplaces can make users more creative and productive. And next, I'm going to share with you the video of this WELL project, which they are really proud of. Next page, please.
After careful consideration, our beloved Edge Technologies headquarters is being awarded the WELL Platinum certificate, the world's highest standard for healthy office buildings, quantifying light, water, air, nourishment, fitness, comfort, innovation, and mind. As the developer and tenant of the very first Dutch WELL Platinum certified building, we are proud. WELL requires a wide array of features, while minding the very finest of details. Our kitchen offers a fresh daily prepared food menu. Air quality is measured and optimized meticulously. Carpets and furniture are carefully selected for minimal hazardous compounds. Natural light, illuminating at its brightest. Biophilic design to make people feel at their finest. numerous good reasons to be active in the building. A smarter and better connected social workplace, thanks to handy innovations. Various gym classes, fine art, natural ambient soundscapes, local climate control, and of course, plants. Lots and lots of extra oxygenating plants. So as you can see, all the careful attention to increase well-being is making our employees quite a bit happier and healthier. As a company on a mission to bring the world better buildings, we are quite excited to reside in one of the very best. With healthy regards, Edge Technologies.
Okay, so that's the end of my part. I hope everyone has enjoyed the case studies I have shared with you. And just to add a little, we are looking after the Hong Kong market. So if you have any well-related issues or queries, please feel free to get in touch with us. And for the next part, my colleague Zhang Yan will take away. Please, Zhang Yan.
Thanks, Richard. And John, do you want me to go ahead and drive the deck for you?
No, I think I'll be fine. Let me just try sharing my screen if it doesn't work. Yeah, great.
Go for it.
Right. Thank you, Stephen, and thank you, Richard. Hi, everyone. My name is Yan, and I'm a member of the Market Solution team here at IWBI Asia. The MS team works to support project teams and guide them through the certification process as smoothly as possible. So I'm one of the WELL coaches that Stephen mentioned earlier. Welcome again, wherever you are. Right, so COVID-19 is now a global pandemic evolving so rapidly. Since the outbreak started in China, we've been rolling out a series of resources and tools, such as a WELL versus the virus guide. So it's a guide on how your WELL spaces address public health issues and better protect yourselves. There's a webinar on this, both in English and Chinese, so I won't go into much details. What we've done is basically selected features that are most relevant and grouped them into 7 chapters. So I'll just quickly go through them. The first one is hand washing. So hand washing is so trivial, yet it's so effective. There are features in the well-being standard and community standard. Focusing on hand washing support and facilities. However, we don't really have much on hand washing activities and how to properly wash your hands. So we are also looking into this and see if and how we can incorporate this in the WELL standard. The next one is clean air. Well, we all know that air quality is a complex issue, therefore will require a holistic approach. So we've listed quite a few features here that you can just reference to. Clean contact. So cleaning products are used more often and in larger quantities during this outbreak. So it's very important to choose clean and safe products. And you will be able to find guidelines on cleaning products in the building standard and the community standard. Right, food and water safety. So nourishment and food safety, especially important during an emergency situation, and because it also closely relates to the human immune system. However, there's still much we don't really know about the human immune system, but we do know that good nourishment, physical activity, and good sleeping habit do contribute to a healthy immune system. Although everyone feels distress in emergency settings, it will get better over time. However, as we are sort of bouncing back here in China, I see things are just developing rapidly in Europe and the US. So I would also like to stress here that it's very important to pay attention to mental health. The last one, emergency management. Well, we've realized that this is the most urgently welcome features, and it's much talked about lately, because people realize that their emergency plan or managements are mostly just in paper. So we really hope project teams could take this opportunity and really get prepared. Well, even if your space is not yet well certified or not even pursuing well, you can still implement these well features as a start. So I hope you can feel confident that there are support and strategies that you can simply take from the well-going standard. According to the US CDC, it is estimated that more than 6 out of every 10 known infectious disease in people can be spread from animals, and 3 out of every 4 new or emerging infectious disease in people actually come from animals. Well, this ongoing disease transmission from animals to people presents a significant global health burden, like the one we're seeing. And echoing what Stephen said earlier in the beginning, IWBI is standing up a task force. This task force on coronavirus is a global special task force set up to tap the expertise of key leaders and experts from around the world. This is also our way of supporting the wider community framed within the context of WELL. So we are still in the recruiting process of the task force, and this task force will focus on the critical role buildings play in prevention, preparedness, resilience, and recovery in the face of COVID-19, and also disease prevention in a more broadly sense. So some of you might know this already, that we have plans to take the WELL V2 out of the pilot phase. However, we are pausing our plans at the moment. Instead, we are taking the time to catalyze community engagement with WELL through this task force. So the format will be similar to the public comment that we had last year. So it's a digital platform that allows task force members to engage in discussions and provide guidance on the WELL standards. So reach out to us and nominate yourself or your colleagues, your in-house experts, your friends or your professors, because this could help a lot more people. So since the task force will be working around WELL and WELL features, I will just go through the WELL concepts briefly here. Yeah, there are 10 concepts. So in the AIR concepts, WELL seeks to implement holistic design strategies to promote clean air and minimize human exposure to harmful contaminants in order to maximize benefits for productivity, well-being, and health. So in the water concept, WELL aims to increase the rate of adequate hydration in building users and reduce health risks associated with contaminated water and excessive moist within buildings. Here, the nourishment concept requires the availability of fruits and vegetables and nutritional transparency, and encourages the creation of food environments where the healthiest choice is the easiest choice. So in the light concept, WELL promotes exposure to light and aims to create lighting environments that are optimal for visual, mental, and biological health. In the movement concept, WELL promotes movement, physical activity, and active living, and discourages unhealthy behaviors through environmental design strategies, programs, and policies. In the thermal comfort concept, WELL aims to promote human productivity and ensure a maximum level of thermal comfort among all building users through improved HVAC system design and control, and by meeting individual thermal preferences. So the WELL sound concept aims to improve occupant health and well-being through the identification and mitigation of acoustical comfort parameters that shape occupant experiences in the built environment. And WELL promotes the identification, evaluation, and management of hazardous ingredients across building materials, cleaning products, waste, outdoor spaces, and landscaping. Through all of this, the material concept aims to reduce risk of exposure, whether direct or indirect through environmental contamination. And in the mind concept, we hope to promote mental health through policies, programs, and design. So in combination, these interventions can potentially improve short-term and long-term mental health and well-being of individuals. In the community concept, WELL implements strategies that address public health issues, focusing on the social components that drive and shape health to form built environments that truly create a foundation for equitable, inclusive, and healthy environments. So that was the 10 concepts in brief. You don't have to be an expert on all of them to be in the task force. The task force is chaired by renowned experts and populated by a diverse group of leaders and authorities. We right now have already a long list of leading experts and stakeholders from public health, business, and government, academia, nonprofit, and also architects and designers such as yourselves and the wider real estate communities. So please reach out to us and nominate yourselves, experts in your lives. So your contribution could help countless others and share this evidence-based best practice to companies and communities around the world. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Yan, and thank you, Richard and Stephen. So we're gonna actually, Stephen, if you don't mind, actually maybe we can go back to your deck so that we can actually browse through some of the questions, and we're gonna open up the floor to question and answers right now. So for everyone who are actually still listening to this presentation right now, you can actually just type your questions at the question Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. While we are waiting for questions, I'm just going to keep things going. Stephen and Richard and Yan, you have talked about all this benefit of making your interior or your building part of the WELL certificate program. You make it sound really easy, right? Can you share some of the difficulties you have?
This is Stephen. I'll take a swing from my view and then let the rest of the team maybe have more local comments. The one thing I want to really make clear is if organizations and anybody that kind of reviewed WELL during version 1, I think the feedback you might hear is that it was sort of difficult and expensive, just to be honest. With WELL version 2, we've really tried to, one, take some cost out of it and make it more flexible so it is manageable for all types of projects. We're not saying you're not going to have a couple things that are a little bit harder than others, but because the V2 flexibility is built in, the journey is much more manageable than version 1. But I'll let the local team maybe make some comments of what they find in your market.
Yes, this is Richard. I think one major issue, major difficulty in the Asian market is WELL standard is still relatively new to the market. So we're still doing our best, to promote this certification system and standard. But we find that educating the developers, the designers, and or the general public is the biggest challenge for us at the moment. But to be fair, WELL's building standard has only come out to the market 4 years ago. If you compared it to LEED or BREEAM, which has been in the market for nearly 20 years, that's why everyone hear about that, and people always get confused about is WELL just another green building standard that's competing with LEED and BREEAM, but that's not the case. As we said, WELL is mainly focused on, is wholly focused on humans' health and well-being. So I think to answer your question simply, the biggest difficulty for us is to educate people, educate the project team.
We have more questions right now. I'm going to actually go down the list. The first question is from Nelson Chen, our FAIA. He wanted us to briefly describe the steps to become a certified WELL AP.
Yeah, do you want to
become? Go on.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead. You can. I'm going to try to.
Yeah. Well,
add a link.
To become a WELL AP, you simply need to study WELL building standard as well as the WELL certification guidebook. And after you study these two documents, then you can register to take the exam. And it's very similar to if you have done the LEED AP exam or PMP or some English exam online before. It's very similar kind of system. You register a date and with Prometric. Prometric is the exam provider, and I believe they have an exam center in Hong Kong. So you can you basically register to us for a as a candidate, as an exam candidate, and then you can, once you get the qualified as a candidate, then you can register your own date with the local exam center, and then you just simply take the exam. And as soon as you pass the exam, you become a WELL AP, and you will receive a WELL AP certificate from IWBI. I hope that answered your question.
I guess that also answered the third question from Tom Smith. He wanted to know whether the WELL AP exam is actually offered in Hong Kong. But I think you have answered that. Yeah, it is offered in Hong Kong.
Yes, and the good news is I believe there are a lot of we have a credential called WELL faculty, and the WELL faculty are people who is able to educate people, others to become WELL APs, and there are this kind of courses around, and people, WELL faculty do provide this kind of WELL AP class, but you have to pay extra for those classes. However, for us, we think you can do self-study to become a WELL AP, and it's we encourage you to study by yourself, so and to join this healthy beauty movement with us. And if you I think we have translated all those documents into Chinese as well. So if you want to study in Chinese, you can do that, but it's only in simplified Chinese at the moment.
The fourth question is coming from Ken Hao, FAIA. He wanted to, would any speaker comment on the COVID-19 impact on the WELL concept and the built environment? I think part of Yan's presentation has touched up on the COVID-19 impact, but yeah.
Yes. I'd like to start, maybe Stephen or Yan can back me up here, but I want to start by saying WELL is not designed to deal with the virus situation. It's not designed to do that. WELL is designed to enhance our buildings or community, basically our living environments, through some intervention or strategies that can, change our behaviors or habits. So it's like everyday life, that's what WELL is doing. It's not specifically for the virus. However, we do have a certain number of features which Yan has just covered that can help in this kind of situation. with COVID-19. So that's why we brought those out, to emphasize on those to help people in this kind of situation. And we do notice in some well-certified projects, especially in China, we are seeing some effect, positive effect that people can deal with the emergency situation relatively better than other projects that is not well certified. But we still look into that. And however, if any developer, they have certified their buildings or community with well, and they see the effect and they experience that, now they start to register more and more projects with well, because they can see the positiveness out of that.
Thanks, Richard. Let me just throw in the big picture impact of what's happened is a heightened awareness, obviously, is around health, wellness, being prepared, the well-being challenge, post-virus is really going to be another focus. And the good thing is that our standard and our experts in our team and our knowledge base is going to be able to offer help and solutions. We're not going to cure or fix anything from a healthcare standpoint. But now that people are understanding that there's lots of different ways to mitigate and reduce the impacts, and having your environment and policies in place are extremely important. And I think if, Richard and Jan, if you can send sort of just our PDF that highlights all the features that we've talked about that has some relevance, in the world of viruses, that would be helpful to the organization here. But that's why we stood up that new landing page on our website, to be a collective place to share new information, new research, because this is going to be an evolving topic. And as we find solutions through our task force, we want to share that with the community as quickly as possible so we can all benefit.
I'm going to move on to the fifth question, which is also related to COVID-19. Our member Sam Hood wanted to know, when the WELL standard is applied to healthcare facilities like hospitals, what are the important aspects to look at?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, which would be tough to handle in a couple-minute response. But just to give you a big picture, the healthcare segment itself, we've put together a healthcare, what we call advisory, where we've got some different hospitals that are involved with that, who are pursuing WELL certification. And we're actually learning how to make this work the best as we speak. There are all kinds of concerns, all kinds of unique challenges that we're actually working on finding the best solutions now. I don't know, Richard, Jan, if you have any sort of local progress on any type of feedback on that area, or if you have any hospitals in your region that you can speak to.
We do have a couple cases, but they are, well, not as big as a hospital, but those certified projects are clinics. And we noticed they spend a lot of effort on their, relating to WELL Building Center, the air, the light, and the mic concepts. And those are the fields, if you like, that can actually help their employees, the doctors and nurses, as well as the patients, to kind of enjoy the environment, the indoor environment as well as outdoor environment, even more than before. And we do start to discover that, in some research, it says patients in better environments, with good quality air, light, it kind of helped them to recover much faster as well. And so, yeah, we have some healthcare projects still in the process, in the progress. So the only two certified projects I can think about are, that they have that kind of effect, and also the concept, the aspect they are looking at, what I have described just now. Do you have anything to add, Yen?
Well, we can move on to the seventh question. One of the attendees wanted to know if if he or she wanted to take the WELL exam this year, is V2 in effect on it already?
Yeah, right now, if you take the exam, it is still on version 1, just so whoever gets into the system has that baseline, because it's important to understand that. The actual V2 exam won't be happening probably until sometime next year, because it has to be after pilot officially comes out, hopefully around the summertime. But the test itself, once you get the WELL AP, then your extended education credits you keep trying to do is when you'll start to learn and build on the V2 differences and nuances. But right now it is still based on V1.
I see. I do have one more question. Some of this interior program, like improving the air quality, if you don't actually design the whole building, right? Let's say the building is using like central air. Like, how do you do that to the whole building if the building it just wasn't equipped for that standard that you wanted?
You mean for the whole, the comparison between the whole building and the
yeah, if the client is only working on, let's say it's a high-rise building, and if they wanted to renovate one of the floor, obviously they depends on the building to give them like central air. So
right. Okay, I mean, if you are, okay, let me put it this way. If you are familiar with LEED before, we have well, there are different categories of WELL certification you can apply. For a building that's owned by the owner, the whole building, you can apply for WELL building certification. But if you only build this building to rent, or you want to lease out like more than 75% of the space, and you only occupy like 1 or 2 floors, then you can go for WELL Core, for which you only need to, you still certify the whole building, but you mainly look after the design and operation policies for the areas within this building that you look after in the operation stage. So, the floors we are working, or the common areas like lobby, or, the elevator shelter, or the community gardens, or, restaurants or catering spaces, areas you provide for tenants to get together. If you only look after those, then you apply for WELL Core, and you can pretty much cover the whole building as well. If that answers your question.
Yeah. Is there more questions from the audience today? Yeah. Well. Nelson has another question. In addition to your corporate sponsors, the cornerstone members, etc., does IWBI have a strategic partnership with AIA and USGBC at National Institute level in the US? Would it be considered of mutual beneficial?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So we are in communication with all the different organizations like this. We actually, we're working with different parts of that. So that is a beneficial discussion that we would love to have. And those membership programs that you mentioned that we have are perfect alignment opportunity. Again, I don't know local, what we've been talked about. If Richard, do you have any feedback just in your backyard?
Hello. With AIA, we have. This is actually the first time I'm connected with AIA, and I'm happy to share some information with you about our membership. And we are already seeing a lot of design firms, architectural companies, developers, consultancy firms, and even solution providers, if you like. There are people specialized in lighting, specialized in air solution, air purifying solution. They'll join our membership. We kind of see this membership program as a business club for different companies to who share the same vision as well. As in order to create more healthy buildings and healthy environments around us. When you get together, you meet each other and you can, kind of share your project experiences and maybe create some potential business collaboration. This is how we see this membership program, and I'm happy to, share more information with you after this.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes, we've got a page. We've got a page on membership.
I know you're a member of IWBI, but I think AIA always welcome you.
Okay, thank you.
We are looking forward to expand our impact in Greater Bay Area. So it's great that you are also based in Shenzhen. So we hope we can do more building tours together. Maybe seeing more well building tour in Shenzhen together.
Yes, happy to do that. I usually travel to Hong Kong every 1 or 2 weeks, that kind of interval. But right now, because of the virus situation, so I can't travel across the sea. So, but after everything's settled, we can meet up. But in the meantime, I can share some information with you, and maybe also discuss about which well projects you want to visit after this epidemic period is over.
Just one last thing from our member Sam. He just wanted to wish our speaker Stephen Brown in New York safe and healthy. So and with that, I would like to conclude our webinar today. Just wanted to repeat one more time for all of you who have attended and you received. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. One more question from our VP this year, the Vice President of AIA Hong Kong, Winston Yu. Our well-certified building paid back? I guess his question is about the payback cycle and the cost of public information about the well-certified building. Do you have more information on the payback cycle and cost implication?
Yeah, we're starting to have different organizations start to report that. I will put in the link from the ASID project because they actually put together quite a bit of metrics and numbers and research because they wanted the public to share, because they were doing this to themselves so they could basically show what they learned across the board. So we can shoot that to you. I'm just trying to find it quickly if I can get the link on your response here quickly. But it is a public document, and others are starting to come public. We do have some project profiles that are available that give some data on some of the metrics and returns.
Saying knowing the financial aspect, the payback cycle, I think it will be really useful for us to educate the client and also convince them to join the WELL program.
Yes, of course, I understand that. And we do have different types of feedback and documents that can kind of start to tell that story that we can kind of figure out maybe through Richard to help get that to your community there.
Hey, it's okay. I mean, if we can find right now, we have recorded this message. We will post another link. We'll probably post this recording online, and along with all the answers, we'll just keep them up on the AIA Hong Kong website.
Sounds great.
All right, I know it's actually 9:30 already, so I would actually like to wrap up this section. And thank you again to Stephen, Richard, and Yan. It has been very, very fruitful, and I wish all of you will stay healthy. And we really looking forward to do more webinar or actually in-person seminar like this in the near future.
It's fantastic. I really appreciate you inviting us and taking the time, and hopefully we can help educate your group in the future.
That's good. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we're going to log out now. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Great.